Good morning. It says you're live, and then I go, am I live? Really? And it takes me a good 10 to 15 seconds to believe it. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the program. I have neglected to clear my throat. I really want to go very badly for no reason. It's just something I need to do. Why don't I take the extra 5 seconds to just before I begin? Why don't I put that effort into the vocal warm-up? It's disturbing to you, the viewer. It makes this whole experience too personal. You feel like you're in my chest, and it's uncomfortable for everyone. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the program. It is Sunday. It is I am here, and I will be making coffee in my underwear for you. Let's look at these. These are old ones, and I basically found them again, and I was like, these are fun. They're yellow. They have cartoonish eyes that are tearing, or maybe they have a sigh on them. I'm not quite sure, but here they are, and they're nice, fun, a wacky guy. You know, I'm a zany. I don't know what to say. I'm a zany, fun, life of the party kind of guy. You want to have a laugh? You want to have a yuck a minute? You invite me to your party. We'll have a swell time. After I decline to go. If you have not done already, I would urge you to watch the latest AEW with AEW Women's Champion Jamie Hayter. She allegedly has never seen the show before. I call bullshit because she immediately started fucking with me. And the second she opened her mouth, it sure seemed like she was familiar with how the show goes. That's all I'm going to say. I think she's full of shit. She made me do a lot of stuff. There was an unannounced run-in, multiple, that maybe didn't go so well. And you learn things about her, too. It's entertaining. It's edutainment. Chanel. And you're going to like it. She's the women's champion. Go show her love. I'm sure any sort of champion is very insecure because it's a lot to walk around with. Go like it. Go comment. Go share it. Go tell her and AEW that you like it and the show. At the end of next week, I guess. Who are these people who count their weeks starting on a Sunday? I hate them. Next week, I will be in Orlando at the Dark/Ring of Honor tapings. I don't know what I'll be doing there. Maybe I'll just throw on some tights and do some light chain and then leave. And then after that, Monday, straight to San Francisco. Will I drove or will I flew? That's a good question. But it's going to be Revolution Week. There's going to be big stuff coming up. Then there will not be a AEW because it's a pay-per-view week. We will be doing other stuff, I assure you. And then the week after that is the 1-year anniversary of AEW. So enjoy it because God knows how long any of this will last. Jesus, hang in there, everyone. Go watch the Jamie Hayter one first. First things first. And then watch the Jeff Jarrett one. Just watch them all again. Puerto Rican Chuckle said, it was so nice I watched it twice. I usually watch the new AEW 3 times first, so then you didn't like it. He also said, it's like a music album. Every time you hear something new pops out to you. That is true. The more you watch them, sometimes things go by very quickly. And people take time to process what they just heard, and then they miss the next thing. So you should go watch them again. I did suggest, before we did the Paul White New Year's special, my suggestion was maybe we should put them all together and do a day-long marathon like the Twilight Zone and put it on YouTube. It would be like it's probably 8 hours now. It would be like an 8-hour stream of all the AEWs. I don't think anyone would want that. It was just an idea I had. Matt D has been a member for 9 months and said, everyone who is a Key to the City member is a right boffin. I was a left boffin once. I'm sure you'll say that correctly the first time, RJ. Happy cultiversary to me. Happy cultiversary to you. I don't like to say cultiversary. I didn't coin the phrase. Happy to you. Mikey said, good morning, culties. Can we expect more confetti in the future? It was a nice gesture I tried to do to impress Jamie. I don't think it landed. I have to go back to the drawing board on it. Sean has joined Key to the City. God bless you. Sean said, good morning. Hey, RJ, I turned my card off, so sometimes the thing lapses. Don't mind me. That's totally okay. I've been there before. I'm not upset. God bless you regardless. Leo said, RJ, tell them about your doppelganger. Leo, let me pull it up. Leo sent me a message and he's like, this woman looks like you. I'm like, all right, whatever works. And I guess he saw her on some sort of program. This is the woman. Can we get... Yeah, I mean, when it's blurry like that, it does look like me. I'll give you that. Can we... there we go. Like, maybe... Are you just saying this woman has a half ponytail? I think that's really what you're saying. And now I'm all out of focus because of Leo's bullshit. There we go. That's better. And I'm clear again. So I hope you're happy, Leo. Great investigative work on that one. Amanda said, hello, beautiful people. Hope everyone had a nice week. Jaylene said, went away with fam last week. Missed last week's show and also missed last week's Hey W. Did Jeff Jarrett say his name last week? Okay, you didn't miss Hey W because you can literally go back and watch it. It's not live. It doesn't even premiere. To 7 a.m., it's up, and it'll be the exact same viewing experience as if you watch it now. So even just put it on right now and then come back. It's okay. I'm not going to be upset. Put it on after. It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. Like, you can watch it. Continue to watch it. Christy said, good morning. David said, whether you win, lose, or draw, remember this, kiddos. It's how you play the game. It's all about the game. Okay, Gamer said, well, hi to you. Okay, Gamer, obviously, I promised at some juncture soon to play more games with. I got to do a little Sea of Thieves and maybe some more Ninja Turtles, things of that nature. We'll get there. And I'm already behind. Oh, my God. I'm so behind. Let me pick up the pace. Rod said, I'd really like to know more about the English accent character. What's his line of work? Don't want to spoil it, but I did do an English accent off the top of Hey W. He works with wood, stacking it, cord wood, lot of stacking. That's the new character I'm working on. Sandy said, good morning, everyone. Gina said, good morning. Allie said, happy Sunday. Mia said, good morning, beautiful people. Nail said, good morning. Christy, Kendi, Izzy used my Sylvia emoji. JD said, good morning. Amy said, good morning. I'll be doing yoga in my underwear with you all. Well, we're not doing that. So just make sure it has some good stretch. Nails would like a yuck a minute. Susie has been a member for 14 months. Good morning to you, Susie. Jay said, good morning, everyone. This is my first time catching this live in weeks. Well, get your shit together. Mookie said, I'm here for zany fun. Aren't we all? He's a wacky guy. You never know what he's going to do next. Hey, look, I'm on Star Trek. It's just like wacky stuff like that. So Sierra said, good morning, everyone. Leo said, Jamie is just gorgeous. All right. I found her to be a little pushy. Rod said, the off-camera crowd with Jamie was very talk-soupy. They were I think there was a lot of people in the room that day. They made a lot of background noise. Yolanda said, good morning, family. Hope all is well. Jack said, hey, folks, long time no see. Mia said, I'll be at the tapings. Maybe I'll run into you. I don't think I ever do like a meet and greet, or I don't go into the fans. It's like a weird thing to do, especially during the show. But, maybe if I go through out garbage or something, you'll be, oh, that guy. SM has been a member for 33 months. Jesus, the eye underwear is one of my favorites. It's good to bring back a classic. Nail said, will there be a Prince Nana episode in Florida? Maybe. I think it will be a really good opportunity to get some Ring of Honor people on the show who have not always been at AEW, so I haven't had a chance to get them. Might be a nice little detour. Leo said, why do you hate wearing long tights? I remember you saying you didn't enjoy wearing them. When I first started wrestling, I had long tights. And then when I went to like trunks, to put the long tights on, it was like wearing too many clothes. I was too hot. I was too overwhelmed. I didn't feel free. And the tights that David made us get were fucked. Like, he designed tights that shouldn't be tights. They had padding on them. They were raised. They were embossed. It was a whole thing. And then we put them on. I was like, David, this is not shit you can wrestle in. So more than long tights in general, I hated those specifically. Zubin said, good morning. Hoping there will be some Road to Revolution videos. There probably will not. We kind of lost the possibility of filming them the way the schedule works. So, you can certainly complain about it to them. It's totally fine. Watch Hey W in the meantime, but I assure you there will be other stuff. Hang in there. Sabaka said, hey, RJ, great episode today. Positively E said, good morning. Mess Andy said, I heard a little bit of Terry Jones and Graham Chapman in your British accent. This is an accent of all the British people I've ever watched. Well, isn't that what it would be? Leo said, have you ever had a wrestling match where your opponent pooed themselves? No. I thought I did once. I was on the bottom of a pile up and somebody was splashed or body slammed on top of it, and a fart was forced out of me. And if you've ever had someone push on your stomach and a fart, you ever have like an involuntary fart, it like like that, it rips and you're like, holy shit. And then I immediately in my head, I went, okay, you know what? Probably shit yourself. Invariably in wrestling, if you wrestle for an extended amount of time, like that may happen. A lot of very famous people have shit their pants wrestling. So I went, and I remember rolling to the outside. I remember kind of checking, and I went, oh, I didn't. I just had a fart forced out of me. That was all air, and I'm okay. Thank God. That's also, it's a paranoia of, it's very hard to eat like regular meals before a match. Like a show day is a different kind of diet. So I don't want to put myself in that position. I hope that answered your question, Leo. Nail said, it's easy to miss some under the breast sass from RJ. So yes, watch at least twice. I also think, and the nice thing about them, some of them are dated. Like obviously Will Hobbs and Ricky Starks together. You're like, shit. And then I should really just have them on the show again separately. But there's ones like Eddie Kingston and Danhausen and Britt Baker, Mark Henry, where they're just as relevant now. And that's the value of talking about nothing. Kevin said, I always thought lariats were thrown with the left arm. And I think that's probably like a Stan Hansen thing. But then if you're left-handed, like I will say, I'm right-handed. I throw a clothesline right-handed. If I was to throw it with a left, it would be sloppy as shit and I would murder somebody. But then, so if you're left-handed, if your left hand is the optimal hand, would that still be a lariat? Something to think about. Something to discuss in the group. Machete said, good morning, all. Great episode of Hate today. I think you made me an even bigger Hayter fan. That always makes me happy. When people go, this person is very funny. I've never heard them talk like this before. I like them more. Then I feel like I do my job, despite the show largely being a train wreck. Jack said, almost 60 folks watching, but only 15 likes. Come on, friends. Yeah, well, there's 71 people watching right now, and there's 23 likes, so take that. Leo said, with a 60-minute Iron Man match, you should remind Bryan Danielson and MJF to have a wee and a poo before the match. I think they can take breaks. Like, you ever see those contests where it's like you have to keep your hand on the car, and the person who stays the longest will win it. But I think you're allowed like 15-minute breaks. That's my understanding. SM said, she does not look like you. Oh, we're talking about the woman that Leo sent. Queen said, hello, RJ. It was fun seeing you with OK Gamer. I've lost my place, and I'm getting back there. So, it was fun playing Jackbox on OK Gamer stream Friday. Thank you. I tried my best. It's all you could do. Christine said, good morning from Montreal. Christine was at some sort of wrestling show last night. I don't know why. Yolanda is laughing. Josh said, good morning. I appreciated the Family Ties video. I did a reaction to all the Family Ties intros on Friday. As a kid, I really disliked Tina Yothers, so I'm glad to see her and her family knock down a peg. And we don't have to put her on the list, but for these purposes, fuck Tina Yothers. Mia said, was Leo drunk? Leo said, I actually think this doppelganger is gorgeous. It's Leo's way of telling me he finds me attractive. Rob, ever the British person, is weighing in, saying jiggery pokery is a sleight of hand and lying, so Jamie used it erroneously in her sentence. Her kayfabe English girl gimmick has holes. You know, it's so sad because AEW doesn't have a PC, and they should put me in charge to help people refine their British gimmicks. Just in that department, I think I would excel. Miss Andy said, swing low, sweet lariat. It's a good name. Leo said, were you doing an impression of me when you did the English accent? Yes. Squirrel Squad said, when do we get a crumpy bleaching special? I think me and Jamie Hayter are just going to hit the salon together. That's all. If we got pedicure, I wish we did like a special. They all do these sit-down interviews, JR and Wardlow, and then Mark Henry and Orange Cassidy in a courtyard. Let's go somewhere nice. Jamie Hayter and I think we should go get a pedicure or something. And the bleaching, which you're not going to see. And then we should have an interview that way. Anderson said, RJ, which of the Full House adults would make the best professional wrestler? Well, Bob Saget, because he had the longest limbs. I hope that answers your question. Maureen said, I'm on the road to Revolution. Well, good for you. Amanda said, it's almost my year anniversary. Huzzah, huzzah to you. EJO said, good morning. Twirl. No. David Kaplan said, did you see Mr. Saturday Night? Thoughts? I assume you're talking about the Broadway show. I've not seen the Broadway show. I really should have seen it. I almost wanted to. There's a time when I was going to. That sounds fantastic. However, I liked the original movie that no one liked. That's right up my alley. I understand what was wrong with it. I understand why people didn't like it. It was not funny enough to be funny, and then it was too ridiculous to be too dramatic. But I love that Buddy Young Jr. character. I think it's fantastic. And I like that movie. I think it's just me and Mick Foley who like that movie. And a wonderful Jerry Lewis cameo. And I believe the bloopers are on YouTube. Leo said, if you could have a Dr. Katz special with 3 wrestlers plus yourself, who would you choose? This is a great question. 3 wrestlers plus myself for a Dr. Katz special. Let's do the big white whale and say Mox. Let's go way out in left field and pick Lou Albano, because this is my fantasy. And then Sherry Martel. Those I would enjoy. Bassett said, hello from Pakistan, my naked friend. Love today's episode. The Swing Low Sweet Lariat line had me in fits. Homicide would nail the rendition. Hope you're well, and a happy Crumpsy Day to all. As Jamie Hayter yelled, Crumpsy Day. Not going to say how or what. Going to give it no context. Mikey said, when you're filming, how much of the talent watches? Usually no talent watches. It's usually the camera crew. I mean, we have at least one camera person, one lighting person, and one sound person, at least. So generally 3 people behind the camera minimum. And then, sometimes we'll have an extra audio guy. Sometimes we'll have an extra. So we get anywhere from like 3 to 10 people, and usually all crew. Very few people have watched because usually the space is not big enough for people to sit there. And but then sometimes wrestlers will stay. Sometimes if I'm doing 4 in a row and people have time. But also most of the time we're doing it on show days. So people have shit to do. Nobody wants to sit and listen to me. Rod said, rather than meet and greet, you seem more like a meet and kibitz guy. Just saying. Imagine if my meet and greet had cheese and crackers. Had a nice charcuterie board. That's a thing. Leo said, tell us about Wrestling Coco Beware. Oh, that's a story that deserves its own video, and I really will do it at some juncture. I wrote an article about it years ago. Long story short, he got really excited and basically new-jacked me and beat the shit out of me while his music was playing. It was a learning experience, and one that I've never forgotten. Zubin said, great cameo by Rebel. Not Reba and Hey Debbie. She's a rebel to me. That's how great her cameo was. Rob said, Mia, if Danhausen vlogs are anything to go by, just look for all the vending machines at the venue. RJ will probably be standing by one eating a Chupa Chip. I like my Chupa Chips. I like the Chippa Chupa. Nail said, RJ seems to be loitering with candy. I think it's easy to picture me 40, 50 years ago having a cigarette. When you see me, having candy like that, you go, this guy would have been a great smoker. Maureen said, you sharded. I didn't shart. You see, it was the opposite of the sharding. And I think that's ultimately the point I'm making here. Did others hear the fart? No, I don't think. There's a lot of business going on when those things happen. Leo said, I feel bad for Coco Beware and be on the mat for the 5 seconds he was in it. Yeah, but he did that nice bird thing. Rob said, lariats with the left arm. If you use the right arm, it's called a railiot. That's really hilarious. Almighty Scorpion said, yay, cultiversary. Good for you. Maureen said, have you ever wrestled El Generico? No, but we've done stuff together in the ring. It's nice and vague. Christy said, I regularly go back and watch your Eddie Kingston coffee underwear in the interview or show to everyone. Jade Chung is here, wife of the Impact World Champion, who I have a victory over, Josh Alexander. This is how I keep in touch with RJ. Here to say hi. Now I have to bounce because kids. Later, party animal. And you know what? That's the best way to do it. I don't want to come over and play with your children and catch up with you while your child is hitting me. That shit is annoying to everyone. You have priorities. They're two human beings who can take care of themselves. That's your focus. You pop in, you go, is RJ alive? He's alive. He looks well, I guess, relatively speaking. I got to go back and wipe a child's ass. Done. Jade gets it, socially speaking. And the business, not so much. There was a period where she'd be booked on shows and they'd be like, fall off this high thing. Nah. Socially, she understands the nuances of life. Neil said, did you watch any wrestling last night? Yes, I put on Adrian Adonis against Jim Powers, and it was quite something. I'm not going to say banger. Amanda said, my adventure today is making cannabis gummies. Good fucking luck. Whatever you think you want, have half. Trust me. Neil said, Jade, did you see Josh's backstage video was uploaded this morning? He's being scary. See, this is what happens when she pops in. No, and then nobody fucking talks to me. Leo said, has anyone ever made a pop vinyl of you? I think so. I feel like they painted over a Gaston. Mia said, hi, Jade. See my point exactly. Mass Andy said, just a few days ago, I watched an episode of Mr. Belvedere with the wonderful Richard Kind as a guest star. He and Kevin were a part of a hand on the car contest. They also did that, I distinctly remember, in Mad About You, and the subplot had Paul Reiser as being blind for some reason. I don't know why. But that was like the opposite of a bottle episode. You were like stuck on they would do those all the time. It was like the hot thing. Leo said, do an interview at a Long John Silver's. I was at a funeral once in Michigan of an older woman. And the guy got the priest, reverend, whatever the fuck, and said, blah, 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 blah. And we'll have a small gathering, reception, I guess, afterwards at the Legion across from the Long John Silver's. And I turned to the person next to me and I said, no matter what I do in my life, I really want to make sure at my funeral, nobody utters the words Long John Silver's. Amanda said facial video while Crumpsy is being done so we get the reactions. Miss Sandy liked Mr. Saturday Night. Maureen said, will you be bowling on March 4th in San Francisco? You're the second person to ask me. I will be in San Francisco. It's right before the pay-per-view. I do not know if I will have to be doing other stuff that night. I'm not scheduled to be there. However, if there's nothing else that I have to do, then I would like to be there. So I don't know. If you really want me there, there's people who can force me to go. So, talk to them. Leo said, do the Kevin Nash Joe Dombrowski pasta thing? I asked Joe about that, and he didn't think we were going to serve Kevin Nash during the interview. The catering company was Johnny Gargano's families, and it all comes full circle. Rod said, Dr. Katz talking with Macho Man would be a hoot. Zubin said, I now have the NRBQ song Captain Lou stunk in my head. I love that song. Dun, 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 dun. It's a good song. But as it said, your home improvement reaction is my favorite out of all the TV intros. Such a solid song. I remember watching the show as a kid and trying to nail the wife's Southern accent. Well, maybe it was difficult to nail it because she didn't quite have one. Josh has been a member for 7 months and said, I got a Hey W mug, which rules. I also have a Rootless Coffee Danhausen mug, and it's no good. Too small. How does it feel to beat his mug? It's not that hard to beat that guy's mugs. I had a lot of confidence in my mugs always being better than his mugs. He does not look like a guy who knows what the guy can't even stand up straight. Look at this, look at this. And you think his mugs are going to be any better? You think I was shaken by his mugs? Molly said, by the way, you can buy the Hey W mug and the 2 Hey W shirts and maybe more in the near future at shopaw.com. Molly said, now that Hey W is a year old, not yet, are there any videos, are there any interviews that you'd like to redo? You mean like totally do over again? There were some where it was like, I didn't like the way this one looks because, you're filming at a different arenas, or I wish we had done this differently and shot this differently. There was a couple different ones I think we had planned, and for the last minute we couldn't do it that way, or things didn't work out. But by and large, and it's lucky to, I'm lucky to have like a weekly show where I can just look forward to the next one. Like, we have one coming out literally less than a week from now, it'll be out. So thank God the consistent amount of work keeps me looking forward. In terms of having people back for guests a second time, the ones that have certainly been discussed, Tony Khan wants to come back. And since I've been working for his company for a year now, I have a long list of things I would like to address with him, number one. Number two, Ricky Stark said he wanted to come back because obviously last time was with Will Hobbs. He's changed a lot since then. And also, even that one he didn't like. He restarted it, halfway through. The third one that's been thrown out is Adam Cole, I think, may want to come back. And having said that, there are plenty of people that we have not gotten through yet. Bryan Danielson, Mox, Hangman, Young Bucks, Shida, Takeshita, MJF, Stoke, Lee, Big Bill. More will come to me. Colt Cabana, Dalton Castle, the Kingdom, that whole thing. Mark Briscoe. The list goes on. Athena, Jerry Lynn, Dean Malenko. There's so many other people, and I'd rather kind of give deference to them first. Daniel Garcia, Sammy and Ty Conti. I need to get to the bottom of them as I press on here. I press forward. Private Party, Top Flight and AR Fox, Kenny Omega, Brandon Cutler, Abaddon. I'm just listing. I mean, go look at the roster. There's as many people who have been on the show, and this, I believe, was the 47th episode. There's a lot more people to get through, and I've gone out of focus. I just listed wrestlers for 5 minutes. Leo said, who is the most random person to perform an Elimination Chamber match? Mike Knox, and I thought he was great last night. Nail said, RJ, the comments about David's career that you posted on Instagram, were they serious? I don't know. That's the joy of it. Captain said, afternoon, RJ City and friends. Blue Meanie said, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Blue Meanie. And that reminds me, there's people like Blue Meanie who I would love to get on the show who have been, at AEW. I think he was there once. I'll count him. I'll put him on the list. Rick Ross. Got to get to the bottom of Bow Wow at some point. Christine said, I'm just ignoring my child as I watch this, or is she ignoring me? Either way, I'm an excellent parent, and congrats to you. Neil said, Christine, you are an excellent everything. How is the poutine? I don't give a shit. Captain Quinn said, got to have a big mug for coffee. That's incorrect. Larger mugs are for tea, as far as I'm concerned. Neil said, you don't always have to sass Danhausen. Well, why would I think my mug would be worse than his? It doesn't make any sense. Nick G said, RJ is known for two things, his incredible posture and his mugs. And Rob said it, and it's correct. Danhausen has a weak mug game. Amanda said, I need merch because I have paid for 80% of RJ merch and 100% of Hey merch, so more, please. Yes, I have tweeted it. I think more will be coming soon. I don't know when. Hopefully, maybe after the pay-per-view when it's not so busy. But the mugs are selling well. The mug was on the weekly seller for the whole month. And I think it's off now. Son of a bitch. Captain Quinn said, have you considered getting Jay Lethal on as Black Machismo? That would be fun. Broken Matt Hardy I should have on the show. Captain Insano I would like to have on the show. Leo said, I remember Simon Cowell saying he wanted to bring wrestling back to UK TV. I also remember Simon being a fucking idiot too. So could go either way. Rod said, did someone wrap their all access pass lanyard around the table legs in the latest AEW? You don't think so? Or maybe, this set is thrown together literally 30 minutes before. So that's entirely possible. We have a comment on the space. This guy doesn't sound like he's in his underwear, to be honest. Fuck you, Nick Marquis. The hell does this guy know? I am. Everyone knows it. Piece of shit. They always got to be assholes. Leo said, tell Tony to make All In by Amanda Tangeford, the All Out theme. All right, we'll get on it. Amanda said, if I ever have it all cleaned together, I will. What are we talking about? Christine said, I've often thought about calculating how many days I could go wearing wrestling shirts without repeating. I do a mini merch version. Dave LaGreca does like a whole, I think, March or something is a whole month long of wrestling shirts every day. Morgan said, I've already got my AEW merch in my AEW cart, but I'm struggling to choose between getting an Orange Cassidy or Jungle Boy shirt. Any input to help with my decision? Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Just pick. Who cares? I care about mine. Why would I give a shit about them? They sell enough shirts. I'm scrounging over here. Just buy the fucking shirts. Nail said, you and Ricky had great sexual chemistry. And I think Will was kind of blocking it. Here's something. He's something like the third or fourth person I've married you off to in my head. Matt Sandy said, I watched The History of the World Part 1 yesterday. Tony Khan's sister Madeline was so good in it. She really was. My tits are falling off. I remember that being very funny. But she was really good in everything. She was, including Bill Cosby's other sitcom, like the newer one. Which obviously we won't. I just remember we can still. We're talking about Madeline Kahn here. Maureen. Oh God, I just saw David's here too. Let me get through this as quickly as I can. Maureen said, "The fuck did Maureen say?" Jesus Christ, Mr. Meany, do you think Stevie Richards and Alex Reynolds could be brothers? Kunika J said you should do a Royal Rumble style AEW. I don't think the copyrights would allow. Neil said, we have to tweet TK and AW and ask for all these people. TK makes it happen. Mike said, you got to get Dalton this weekend at the Ring of Honor tapings. God willing. He's just so busy. Rod said, is Renee politicking to take over AW? I'm sure she is. I can't imagine she would show up anywhere without a devious plan in mind. I'm doing a sit down with Adam Cole. What are you doing? I don't know. Who you're wrestling? I won't say. Great fucking journalism, Renee. Amanda said, I would love more Swing Low Sweet Lariat. And have you used your travel press at all? Does it suck? I have not. I will use it very, very soon. I haven't, the second I got it, I stopped traveling, so it was perfect. Swing Low Sweet Lariat. Coming for to pin me home. Swing Low Sweet Lariat. Coming for to pin me home. I looked over the top rope, and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. It was Rebel, not Reba, with some confetti. Coming for to carry me home. Swing Low, Sweet Lariat. Coming for to carry me home. Swing Low, Sweet Lariat. Coming for to carry me home. See, it was stupid when I said it. Now you like it. Tina said, watching a Moxley interview, I would be on edge waiting for him to hurt you. He seems very intense. If anyone can calm a person down, it's me. Leo said, I think AEW should make a Blood and Guts pay-per-view and we can get a men and women's match and no ads. Okay. Matt Sandy said, Simon Cowell was a producer of the WWE wrestling album, the one with Land of a Thousand Dances. Are you sure? I think he might have been of WrestleMania, the album, the one that they sold to the British people. And then that, when I worked at WWE, they couldn't get the rights to it because weird British people owned it. SM said, how can you tell if someone is in their underwear by sound alone? That's how. Neil said, I just looked at the video. There is something wrapped around the table legs. I'll have to go look. I don't know what it is. David said, sorry I'm late. I love you all. Typical love bombing David Arquette. Just dumping it on you. It's just a cycle. Moxley said, give me a reason why I should plug in my toaster. To make toast, you fucking moron. Christine, David, I gifted some on our sleeves conversation decks to my daughter's school. Thank you. Isn't that nice? Leo said, we all should be in our underwear right now. Captain Quinn said, here's a tip for buying a shirt. Close your eyes and point to the one you point at, and that's the one you get. Christy said, if you could play any part in any musical, who would you want to play? I feel like I get this question every 2 weeks, maybe. My answer is Rum Tum Tugger from Cats and Dr. Oren Scrivello, DDS from Little Shop of Horrors. And I'm ready to play both. Leo said, is it true that David Arquette was supposed to be in Blades of Glory instead of John Hayter? David, confirm or deny? I can't speak. Leo said, met Matt Cardona last night at the GCW show. He didn't confirm or deny that you would be at the live show. Any update? I mean, so far, no, because I don't think I'll be in. But if I do come in, I'll be at the show. He's certainly not rushing to make travel plans. I'll say that. Positively E said, are you talking about Cosby with Dougie Doug? Yes, I am, where he had the same wife, the wonderful Felicia Rashad, but he moved to a different borough of New York and was a totally different person. It was a stupid idea. Christina's gifted 5 memberships. Morgan, Midnight, Lawrence, Morgan, Queen, and Heather have all become members. Queen, of course, Church of Joshi at 12 on that Twitch if you want to watch and dissect things. And maybe, maybe she'll bring up my Jamie Hayter interview. I think that intersects. I mentioned Japan for a second there. Morgan said, thank you. Christine said, can snap your undies become a new running request? Yes, until it starts harming my skin. Fred said, you and Danhausen definitely need a show. Are you a producer? Do you work with a network? Do you know how the logistics work, Fred? Jesus. David said, thank you for the on our sleeves love. David said he'd never heard about him allegedly being in Blades of Glory before John Hayter. So chalk that up to the rumor mill. Miss Sanity said, I stunned corrected. You were right about which album Simon Cowell produced. I know so few things in life, but one thing I do know unequivocally is the wrestling albums which Simon Cowell produced. Blumini said, the BWO did induct Leva into the group. How hard is it to get in? Really? Mia said, Leva Bates is awesome. Molly said, Leva Bates also needs to be on the show. The Wingmen need to also be on the show. Molly said, 100% can confirm there's an AW one-day all-access pass wrapped around the table leg and in the Jamie Hayter episode, which everyone can watch at youtube.com/AW. I don't know why that's the case. I certainly did not notice it. What I'm thinking is maybe the audio guy, because I think it was the audio cart, like to wheel equipment around. I think that's what we used as a table. Also, this episode has the first appearance of the Hey W mugs in an Hey W episode, and they've already been messed with, thanks to the mischievous Jamie Hayter. Love bomb, said David. Captain Quinn said, oh yeah, and I had to click allow gifts. Queen said, I was summoned via Twitter Spaces. Hello, well, I just screamed your name. Nail said, Queen is also enjoyable on TikTok. I don't follow her. I need to. AW has a TikTok. Sometimes they give me their phone and they're like, film something. And they filmed like a bunch of stuff. Some of it they haven't put up, and I think they're confused by it. And I think I will just put it up at some juncture. Regardless, go follow them. Go follow me. Do I want a fucking TikTok? No. Do I need to just dump my shit in the hope more stuff will blow up and people will pay me more money to do more fucking things? Yes. I didn't choose this fucking game. I didn't choose this game. Leo said, there's a terrible wrestling journalist who is banned from Twitter this week. I mean, isn't that a weekly occurrence? Blumini said, I saw David in a documentary this weekend called Can't Be Stopped. It was really, I got something on my eye. I saw David in a documentary this weekend called Can't Be Stopped. It was really good. David, do you have any recollection of being in this documentary? Typo said, David, I watched Scream for the first time yesterday to impress a date who likes horror, even though it's too scary for me. Yes, the same date with the Hey W shirt. Oh my God, that's you, Typo. You were a little baby. Yes. Who cares about baby David? I want to know how the date went with my shirt. Matt Sandy said, after the Hall of Fame in 2013, I had a good conversation with DDP about David Arquette's time in WCW. It was a positive conversation, of course. That's because DDP was full of shit. Queen said, thank you for screaming my name, Queen. How dare you not follow me on TikTok? I enjoyed your Undertaker audition. You know, I heard that it was well received. I'm waiting on a callback. I just know there's a lot of people who want the part. Mia said, lovely cussing today. I hate the term cussing. David said, you kind of did choose this business. No, I didn't. When I started, when I was watching The Muppet Show and saying, oh my God, I want to be like Victor Borga, I didn't know it was going to be this fucking TikTok roulette game. How was I going to predict that shit? You think Borga would have succeeded? Captain said, who's been banned from Twitter? A lot of people. Typo said, he really liked the shirt, unfortunately. Thinking now best to ghost him. Run for your fucking life. DDP slander? Oh, hell no. He needs to be on the show, too. Glacier needs to be on the show. Abaddon needs to be on the show. Let me list. There's got to be more people. Oh, my God. The Lucha Brothers. How did I forget them, even though they horrify me? Sting needs to be on the show. House of Black needs to be on the show. How will that work? I don't know. But they need to be on the show. SM said, oh shit, he's caught up. That's right. I move at an incredible speed. Mia said, I'll wear my Hey W shirt today because of your sass. Well, don't go on a date. There's another comment here. It says, we're all in our underwear here. It's the rule. There's 2 quotes here, too. If you're not already in your underwear, please get in them and join RJ. Well, thanks for all that support. Neil said, Pac needs to be on the show. Oh, yeah, I would love that. Thank you for reminding me. Josh said, reporting from The Comedian's audiobook journey, and the author has a decent Mel Brooks impression and a terrible impression of everyone else. The book is great despite the terrible impression. You're talking about Cliff Nesteroff. He wrote a book called The Comedians. I've read it. I've loved it. The fact that the audiobook has bad impressions excite me so much more. And I'm probably going to get it too. Show Bits said cheesecake should be on the show. Are you talking about cheeseburger? David said Victor Borga was the original TikTok and Xavier Cugat painting. He would have excelled. Xavier Cugat was a scumbag, and I think you know that. Rod said, what 70s actor or actress would have crushed it on TikTok? I could see a Charles Nelson Riley lounging and telling old show business stories. I think Moominshans would have had a great one. Zubin said Sting should be on the show, but can Tony Schiavone introduce him? With Sting. That's how I would introduce him. Captain said, we must hear from Glacier. QT Marshall needs to be on the show. Thank you for reminding me. And catch up on the shenanigans from Casa del Frosty Balls. I'm lost. Leo said, would you rather see a Sid Justice or Marty Jannetty TikTok? Sid, because I found a picture of him at the Canadian National Exhibition trying to fist bump an elephant. And I found it like 2 days ago. Christine said, I'm using this because Nails gets nervous when you catch up. You're great. She's great, etc. Well, that was useless. That barely deterred me at all. Josh said Glacier would be great. Nail said Jake Roberts, I need to get on the show. Christine said, do you have a listening device at my apartment? I freaked out. Dustin Rhodes, I need to get on the show. Leo said, outside of AEW talent, I think an awesome episode would be with Effie as a guest. I'm going to repeat the name of the show. It's Hey EW. Just going to fill you in there. Christine said, now I look all desperate with those 2 little green icons up there with my face on it. Well, what are you going to do? Kevin Featherstone said, get Greg Gagne. Maybe we could take a trip to the old barn. Talk about the old days. Captain Quinn wants Sting and Tony. SM said, Toxicity by System of a Down cabaret style. Toxicity, System of a Down. Love that system. Lyrics, cabaret style. Okay, let's go. Conversation software version 7.0. Looking at life through the eyes of a tire hub. Don't you know I'm adding more stuff? Eating seeds as a pastime activity. The toxicity of our city. You, what do you own? The world? How do you own disorder? Disorder now somewhere's been the sacred silence alone. Sacred silence and sheep sleep. Somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Disorder, disorder, disorder. Hey, more wood for their fires. Loud neighbors. Flashlight reveries caught in the headlights of a truck. Eating seeds as a pastime activity. The toxicity of our city. Of our city. What do you own? The world? How do you own disorder? Disorder now somewhere between the sacred silence and the sleep. This song is fucking horrible. When I became the sun, I shone life into the man's heart. When I became the sun, I shone life into that man's heart. That's the song. And I cannot think of one fucking genre that these lyrics would make any sense in or be considered good in. They don't rhyme. They don't even fit. The syllables are all out of whack. A horrible choice, SM. Miss Andy said, Moominshans. I haven't heard that reference to them in a long time. I'm bringing Moominshans back. Fuck the Blue Man Group. Amanda said, still sad you did not know I've got a bed and that ain't good. So give me something Ella Fitzgerald or Jazzy. Also to take up time. Grab your coat and get your hat. Leave your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. But can't you hear the pitter-pat and a happy tune is your step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the rain. I used to walk in the shade with my blues on parade. But now I'm not afraid, 'cause this rover done crossed over. If I never had a cent, I'll be rich as Rockefeller, with gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. It's a nice light jazz. The way he said, hey, let's go, was a real next level lounge jazzy, and I'll be performing at Bootsy Bellows. It's a small show. I'm workshopping right now. Amanda says, I'm legit stifling myself laughing because my husband is sleeping next to me. Poor bastard. SM said, I pissed him off with the song. It was just a bad one. And Tyvo said, RJ, can you say toxicity? Toxicity. Toxicity. Leo said, would you watch WrestleMania match featuring the Blue Man Group? Only if they were destroyed en masse by Blue Meanie. Showbits said, imagine RJ City and Tess singing classical musicals. Ali said, would you sing the Frank Sinatra, the coffee song for us? No, I'm not going to do it, Ali. And I'll tell you why. It's not that good. I know it's one of your favorites, and it's just not that good of a song. Leo said, also, you need Dustin Rhodes on the show? Didn't I just say that? Amanda said, that was lovely. Thank you. Captain Quid said, voice of an angel there. David said, February 22nd, come to Bootsy Bellows. That's Tuesday? No, Wednesday. This Wednesday. Come to Bootsy Bellows in Los Angeles for the Healthy Humor. This is a benefit, and you will benefit by going there. And an incredible night. Christina Hendricks will be there. David Arquette will be there. Probably, you know how he does that old tap dance routine. That whole thing he's doing is going to be fun. And clowns. So many fucking clowns, but good ones, not the shit ones. The good, healthy humor clowns that will make you have a good time, I assure you. Morgan said, RJ, I'm curious what your favorite musical genres are. I don't think it's fair to say I like swing, because most of it sounds stupid. I like a good folk. I don't mind a folk. I like a folk into early folk rock, and I'll seed you perhaps a proto punk. I went proto. Leo said Darby Allin should be on the show. Another person who should be on the show. Fred said Luther should be on the show. He was great on Ethan's latest vlog. Luther is insane. We do need to get him on the show. Christine said so many non-shit clowns. David said thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you. Tom said, let's hear a dramatic reading of Amish Paradise by Weird Al Yankovic for no reason. Can we? I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to explain why it doesn't fully work. As I walk through the valley where I harvest my grain, I take a look at my wife, and I realize she's very plain. But that's just perfect for an Amish like me. I shove fancy things like electricity. At 4 a.m, I'm milking cows. Jebediah feeds the chickens, and Jacob plows. Fool. And I've been milking and plowing so long that even Ezekiel thinks my mind is gone. I'm a man of the land. I'm into discipline, got a Bible in my hand, beard on my chin. But if I finish all my chores and you finish thine, then tonight we'll party like it's 1699. We've been spending most our lives living in an Amish paradise. I churned butter once or twice living in an Amish paradise. It's hard work and sacrifice living in an Amish paradise. We sell quilts at a discount price. Living in an Amish paradise. A local boy kicked me in the butt last week. I just smiled at him and turned the other cheek. I really don't care. In fact, I wish him well, because I'll be laughing my head off when he's burning in hell. But I ain't never punched a tourist, even if he deserved it. An Amish with a tood, that's unheard of. I never wear buttons, but I got a cool hat. My homies agree I really look good in black. If you come to visit, you'll be bored to tears. We haven't even paid the phone bill in 300 years. But we ain't really quaint, so please don't point and stare. We're technologically impaired. There's no phone, there's no lights, no motor car, not a single luxury. Like Robinson Crusoe, primitive as can be. All right, we got it. We got the gist. It's hard to make things that are already funnier. It's like, why am I doing? I feel like the work is already done. It's like showing up to a painting and just dusting it. Not really adding anything. Typa said, Nails, we always come up with more bullshit to ask him. Don't worry. Leo said, there's nothing scarier than a guy who listens to heavy club music who doesn't go to clubs. I just put it on in the house. Morgan said, beautiful genre choices. You continue to fascinate me. Gina said, my friend just came over and gave the best look while RJ was singing System of a Down. I love it. Neil said, aside from Prince and Nana, we should all be asking for Stokely Hathaway. Ask him. I think he's, when he's ready. My chair is open. More comments on the fucking thing by people I've muted. Keep singing, said EGM. More Danhausen on the show. He makes you better. Why don't you go fuck yourself? Christine said, I'm going to do this. Oh, she's quoting me. I'm going to do this, and I'll tell you why it was stupid for you to ask this. Leo said, Weird Al is good, but I think comedy rock like Steel Panther is actually unbelievably fucking awful. I agree. I really, truly agree. Be a full parody like Spinal Tap. You know what I mean? I feel like those are people who are too afraid to commit to the genre, so they just say it's parody as an excuse. Amanda said, hey, friends, don't forget to like the video and leave some comments. Not all of them, some of them. Christy said, is there anything you'd be scared, worried about? Is there anyone you'd be scared or worried about interviewing for any reason? Most of the time, I'm scared in interviewing people. The things I'm going to say, they have not heard. I want it to be good. I also want them to enjoy themselves. And I also want people to watch it. I would say most people, I'm frightened to do the show, period. So it almost doesn't matter who the person is. Not that there aren't some genuinely frightening people, Lance Archer, but just in general, it's frightening. Pam said, I've been listening today and could not participate too much. I got to head out. Happy Sunday to all. Thank you, Pam. It's very sweet of you. Hey, Tybo said, I think it's time for a hair shakeout. I guess. What happened to your date? I thought, weren't you dating a guy? Did you not take the fella home last night? And say, hey, let's look at all my shirts. Jesus. Um, Amanda said, we're all quietly waiting for the shakeup. Well, I guess there's nothing more to do now. Sarge said, I tried to make coffee in my underwear once, but I got fired from Starbucks. You think you're the first person to say this joke, Sarge? You're a little late. Nell said, I really don't want him to interview MJF because I'm the scared one. Let's see if he will do it. I don't know if he will do it. He's a difficult person. Captain said, Danhausen has been guest host on Hey W last month with guest Hook and RJ, and it ruined everything. Rob said, has any guest so far took legitimate offense to you? You know, it's really hard to tell because when we're done, they leave, and then sometimes I don't get to speak to them again. And I don't want to message and be like, hey, I hope everything's okay. I trust they know I'm coming from a good place. I feel like maybe Tony Schiavone would be upset with the Jade one because I talk about his shits, and I didn't, I don't know. Did he hear about it? Did it get back to him? I don't know. Did a bunch of people tweet him about shit? Those are the things I worry about. Christine said, if MJF can sit in Marin's chair, he can sit in yours. I think Marin has mellowed out. Amanda said, we need a super cup of the shakeouts and the snaps. We all might die. That's a video that sounds like a good idea, and then ultimately it doesn't do well at all. Typo said, thank you for volunteering to edit that, Amanda. Captain said, you were trying to get a fly out of the vending machine. There was a fly, and it was sad. John said, was there a favorite guest? I will say, on this show, my favorite guest was Mario Cantone. On Hey, I don't know. It's weird just to have a favorite guest because then they're all so different. And sometimes you do like, Arn Anderson, who I loved. And there's something magical about Arn Anderson in the sense that I never saw him again. Like that's really the only time I've ever spoken to the person is all of what you saw. So I think that is a nice example of what the show is. I just think of moments like finding out Jim Ross had heat with Danny DeVito. That was very interesting to me. A bunch of dirty words said by Jamie Hayter. Chris Statlander playing music. All these things pop up in my head. Jeff Jarrett, many people had called an epic. So I don't know. I'm just happy that they're all different. There's like these peaks and valleys when you look back on nearly 50 episodes. Isn't that weird? David said Niagara Falls, and I say slowly I turn, step by step, inch by inch. Bagel Street. I'm a traditionalist. I'm a Bagel Street guy. Amanda said, no skills. I can't even make a reel. Rod said, it's more likely that RJ is offended by the guest. See any Danhausen appearance. That's true, too. Eddie Kingston was great. There are people who I don't think like me, which is, Jericho, Jade was, I love when people figure it out halfway through. Matt Hardy, apparently on his podcast, was like, I thought it was going to be a real interview. Paul White, oh my God. What can be said? I'm just naming people. I like the show. I mean, I don't like it, and that's what keeps me doing it. Rob said, your favorite guest is always the next one. My point exactly. Except for today. Focus on Jamie Hayter. YouTube.com/AEW. Watch the video. Like the video. Comment on it. Share the video. Post it wherever you can. Let Jamie Hayter feel loved. It's not about me. It's about the guest. This is a vehicle for other people, not for me. Because I'm, again, scrounging. So make it nice for them, please. Leo said, what would you do if you saw Arn Anderson dancing in a nightclub? I would ask him if he has a ride home. Rob said, your favorite guest is always the next. I just fucking read that. Show Blitz said, still waiting on Jade Cargill versus Annie Lennox, as am I. Swerve turned into that whole Bow Wow fiasco. Yes, Kendi said, I think each episode is special and amazing in their own way. Nail said, Ethan was the best guest in the episode. I'm absolutely biased. Gina said, everyone take care of your crumpsies this week and your boffins. See you on Sunday. Go watch the show. It's incredibly important. Tell everyone you like it. Pester people if you want them to be a guest. In the meantime, tell Jamie Hayter that you love her by liking her episode and sharing it. And thank you for sharing this time with me. I'm so glad we had this time together. David said, RJ talking vulnerably about doing a show. Chef's kiss. Oh, go fuck yourself. Spot Center said, how many of them underwears do you own? A lot. It's not a legitimate question. I'll do a count. I'll do a yard sale. David said, I love you all. And on that note, until the next time, Godspeed.